I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Tuesday, September the 7th, brought to you in part by Safeguard. Is your dewormer working? Text the word SAFE to 48109. You'll receive a free fecal test kit. You can have that sent off and tested and find out if your dewormer is working or not. You'll also be entered to win 100 doses of free Safeguard mineral and a mineral feeder. BSE in Brazil. 2 cases, atypical, which means that they just spontaneously happen. It's not your classic BSE that started the mad cow and caused the deaths and things over the last 30 years or so. But it was confirmed on Saturday from Brazil's ag ministry there, and it's 2 different cases in 2 different states. And they was found just through routine testing. But it did cause exports to China to be halted. Now, Brazil is the world's largest beef exporter. You know, we think, I've told you guys before, we think we're big in beef in the world. Brazil's bigger than we are. They're the biggest beef exporter that we have in this whole world, but their biggest customer is China. We'd like to tap into that. We don't have the best relationship with China, and we don't send them a whole lot. It has kind of been growing a little bit, but we'd love to get more of that. Is this going to mean that we're going to be able to step up a lot of shipments to China? Probably not, but if China does have to go somewhere else, you know, a beef supply, a world beef supply is a world beef supply, and if they have to go somewhere else, then that's going to leave them low. So we may see a little bit of it. Brazil has 40% of China's beef business, so they are a major shipper of beef to them. The heck of it is, this wasn't done because China was mad because they found BSE case or 2. This was through a previous negotiation that they'd had with a contract that they said if they had one, then they would tell them that they had confirmed cases and they would halt shipments, and that's what they've done. The last time this happened, they had just 1 case in 2019, and it only suspended business for 10 days. So if this is typical and say it's 2 weeks we go, likely is not going to change things a whole lot. Now, it could change the optics a little bit, and depending on how this deal works out, you know, you never know. But I would be surprised if the board is not up from that news to start this business out after the holiday here on Tuesday. I'd be surprised if we don't see a little shot in the arm from it. Likely it'll be one of those deals where you get a lot of people jump in seeing the news, and then as more they talk about it, then it'll back off a little bit. But that's kind of what I would expect on that. But it's something big, and actually, you know, it can also be seen as a negative at the same time. Anytime you see BSE come up in beef, you start to, it's a negative. The only difference is because we would like to tap into some of that business, and we can't forget, and you guys probably all know, that of our big 4 packers that have a monopoly on the beef business in this country, 2 of them are Brazilian owned. Now, if that makes a difference, how that makes a difference, you never know. You know, whenever we had trouble keeping our packing plants open, they were shipping that product over here, you know, from Brazil to fill the gaps. You know, maybe if they have to suspend slaughtering down there, and then the processing goes down, which they are saying that it has been already scaled back, that maybe they'll ship some of this down there, and that will make a difference. But we'll see how it works out. But that's the big news to start out the week. If you guys were busy with your family and friends enjoying the holiday weekend and didn't get that news, but that's the big news to start the week out here. Let's look at your board for last week. October live cattle futures. Monday was down 80. Tuesday down $1.42. Wednesday was the only day it wasn't down. It was only up 67 cents. Thursday down $1.52, and Friday down $1.25. With October live cattle ending the week at 124.80. That was down $4.32 for the week, and your cash prices were steady for the most part on live. It was lower on the dress though, but still December still trading at a premium at 130.92 to end the week. Feeder cattle down hard on the futures. September contract feeder cattle Monday was up 52 cents, but then Tuesday down $1.05, Wednesday down 7 cents, Thursday down 2.62, and Friday down $1.82, with September feeder cattle futures ending the week at 158.47, down 6.18 for the week. October ended the week at 162.47, down 5.95 for the week. December new crop corn ended the week at 5.24 bushel. That was down nearly 30 cents, so that continues to get a little cheaper as they start to get into full swing of harvest here before long. Your fat cattle trade last week through Thursday, only 48,200 head. Be a very light movement and not a lot of sales on Friday, so it's not going to be much more than that when we get it all rounded up here to start this week a little bit later because of the holiday. But your live sales of steers and heifers, 123 to 128. That was actually just kind of unevenly steady as a range. Your weighted average on live steers in your 5 area through Thursday, 125.73, and that was pretty close to steady, because we had a mix. The northern plains was a little bit softer and the southern plains was steady to $1 higher, but the weighted average on live steers up through your 5 areas come out very close to steady. We'll see what it is when we get everything wrapped up. But dress sales were down, and we've been seeing that alternate back and forth, a changing market on the dressed, and then it would go back the next week to the live. But they are tightening that premium that the northern plains is getting to the southern plains. But your dress sales, steers and heifers last week, 197 to 204. That was $3 to $4 lower. And your weighted average on dressed steers, 201.78, down about $3.50. So pretty stiff losses there, but we saw more than that on the futures. A little bit of Friday trade, and it was maybe kind of towards the higher end of the price range. There's a little bit more optimism there late in the week, what little there was. But Iowa, about 200 heads all confirmed on Friday, 23,700 head for the week. 126 live was the only price. Nebraska, a couple of hundred head, 16,500 for the week in Nebraska. The only price they had was 203 dressed. Kansas, about 1,000 head and 6,500 head, which is nothing for the week. But they did have 123 to 124, and it was heavy on the 124. We felt like that 124 was kind of a charity bid that come out on your Fed Cattle Exchange through Central Stockyards there, and most of us in the industry were surprised to see it. Texas, just a few loads of cattle on Friday confirmed. Only 3,100 for the week negotiated, and Dr. Kuntz's study there last year said that we needed almost 10,000 to make a robust market. How about $124 was the only price, and that was on mixed bag cattle. So we're not really going in on the cash side on a downer really, but the board has been. But like I said, I would expect the board to get a shot in the arm from this Brazil news. Box beef cutout values, your weighted average on all of last week's sales were lower, a lot lower, and they're going to continue lower for the next 2 or 3 weeks. But 339.52 or 54, that was down $7.49 from the previous week's weighted average, and the end of the week was even lower than that, with Friday afternoon at 336.42 on choice cuts. Selects, your weighted average on all of last week's sales, 308.25, down 9.17. And it was lower yet than that to end the week, with Friday afternoon at 304.13. Slaughter, 624,000, which is nothing, but we knew we were going to be light on our Saturday, and our Friday was light too. But they did come in with about 32,000 on Saturday, what they estimated, but 624,000, that's down about 11,000 from the same week a year ago, if you wanted to make your comparison there. A lot of you guys don't really know how to manage your risk on cattle, would like to have some help. Maybe get into one of those LRP, livestock risk protection policies there that are government subsidized. If you need help with that, call them at Livestock Risk Services. They've got an office there in the Exchange Building at Oklahoma National Stockyards in Oklahoma City. They can give you advice and help you get one of those if you'd like to do it. How about your feeder cattle market? Late last week, your real-time index on DV auction, based on your average on 800-pound steer up through your middle 12 states, just like your feeder cattle cash CME index. But it ended the week at 157.46, and I say ended the week, that included Russell, Iowa, that had a big special, about your only big sale on Monday. But 157.46, that was down 50 cents is all from the end of last week, so that wasn't too bad at all. But your cash feeders in your sale barns last week, the feeder cattle going right into the feedlot, and especially your yearlings, were mostly steady. Calves kind of uneven. We started seeing more peewees show up. They're starting to bring a better price. We're starting to get some of your best reputation strings come in of calves, the early sales on them. They're selling well, but we're also starting to get some odd deals of fat, fleshy, unweaned calves, and it's still hot around, guys, and it's just kind of it depends on what your run's like is how your calves are going to sell. Big special, barbecue special at Russell Livestock in Russell, Iowa on Monday, Labor Day. 5,100 head there, and compared to 2 weeks ago, your steers were $5 to $10 higher, heifers $2 to $6 higher, but that's on some real top reputation outfits come in. And look at how well tested it was throughout the weight groups. You look at this automated market report through Cattle Market Central, gonna give you the best tested weights there. How about 5-weight steer calves? 666 head of those, average 540, with an average price on all those 5-weight steers of $180.37. 587 head of your 6-weight steers, average 653 at $177.84 on the average. 546 head of 7-weight steers, a lot of these be calves, average 747. 167.81. That's pretty smoky. I'll get into some of those bigger yearlings. 352 head of your 8-weight steers, averaged 851 at 155.90. The weighted average price of all your 8-weight steers. And 246 head of 9-weight yearling steers, averaged 958 at 149.73 on the average. And that was about all your sales that you had. Of course, it was a holiday, and over the weekend, most of your weekend sales were closed too. But the best quote that I did see out of Russell, and your Zach Tran top quote for the week, 53 head, 632-pound steer calves, bring $191. And that's your feeder flash for Tuesday.